kickstarting the tabletop Extra Life this weekend with tonight's stream. So you might be wondering, well, what the heck does cooking have to do with tabletop gaming, Extra Life, or playing board games until the wee hours in the morning? Well, anybody who's got a gaming group knows that part of the group experience of game night is cooking, or at least having food. And it doesn't matter if you're getting takeout or Checkers or Crystal Burgers on the cheapo side, or if you're actually cooking a big home cooked meal. Part of the gaming experience is just being able to enjoy a good meal with friends. So tonight I'm going to show you guys how I make my spaghetti sauce. It's kind of funny. I was thinking about this on the way to work this morning, that somewhere out there watching this video maybe, or somewhere participating in this tabletop weekend, is a 25 or a 26-year-old version of me who their idea of spaghetti may be just a jar of this, a pound of ground beef over some pasta, calling it a day. We're not too complicated tonight. We're not going to do too much more than that, but we're going to do a little work to elevate, and that sounds kind of cliche, but we're gonna make our sauce a little bit better. We're not in a hurry. We're not gaming until Saturday afternoon, so it's going to give our sauce a little bit of extra time to cook and get a little bit of flavor. So let's go ahead and get started. First of all, I don't use fresh tomatoes. Shame on me. My tomatoes come in a can. So step one of tonight is me versus this can opener as we go through a couple cans of canned tomatoes. I actually mix it up, and here's why. I don't like chunky sauce. I just don't. I don't like big, nasty chunks of tomatoes. It's weird. It's no bueno. So I use 2 cups of crushed tomatoes, a can of diced tomatoes. That's so you get a little bit of chunkage in there. Did I just say chunkage live stream? Hell yeah, I did. Rock on. And then a can of actual tomato sauce for that smooth, creamy consistency. So what we're going to do is we're going to open these up one at a time. Maybe I should have done this earlier in prep. Maybe I didn't have time. Maybe I didn't think of it. I don't know, but we're going to have fun tonight. It's going to be exciting. All right, so we're going to take these diced tomatoes and we're going to drain them. So follow me over to the kitchen sink in case you don't make anybody sick as you move the camera. There we go. Second can. And I know if you were following my Facebook or you saw it, I was going to put a pork tenderloin into the sauce, and I may still do that, but I had a long day at work. I didn't have a chance to stop at the grocery store, so we don't have a pork tenderloin. But, oh, that is my crushed tomatoes. I just dumped a bunch of that down the sink. That's okay. Crushed. These are crushed too, so we're good. We're not going to run short. The best part about cooking videos is your husband has to clean up afterwards. So that's fun. And one more. Now what you're going to find, if all you use is a combination of crushed, diced, and tomato sauce, you're going to get a sauce that tastes very, very much like the tomato soup you got in high school or grade school at the cafeteria. It's going to taste like tomato, which is good, but we need seasoning. So to get that, and to get that special flavor, first, I'm going to use about 2/3 of this can of tomato paste. This is where I start fighting with the can opener. What's up?
We have a viewer that's saying hello.
Hello, hello.
Name is Squeaks, I think.
Squeaks? Not Screech from Saved by the Bell. Squeaks, that's a cool name. How's it going tonight, Squeaks? So we've got all our cans open. One other thing, and this is where I cheat. I take 2 jars of Prego sauce. And you can use any jarred tomato sauce, that's fine. And that's how I get a little bit of my flavor. We're gonna add some extra stuff in a bit, but let's start with our jars of sauce. And we're gonna dump that right into our crock pot or our slow cooker. Can I say crock pot? I think that's a brand. Our slow cooker. That's one. I'm going to cap that, turn it upside down. Jar 2. All right. Now we're gonna empty our cans in. One, two, three, and we're going to add our diced tomatoes for a little bit of, as we said earlier, I believe we referred to it as chunkage. And it looks like I didn't get all the water out of this when I drained it. That's fine, because we're going to let this cook for probably at least a day on low. That way, a lot of that water is going to come off. We're going to get a really, really thick meat sauce that sticks to noodles and is just delicious. All right, this is where we're all going to judge Henry's knife skills, which are non-existent. The only thing I really use that's fresh is I am a big fan of onions. I put onions in everything. So we're going to dice up 2 onions for our sauce here. I can hear Gordon Ramsay now. Oh, those are not uniform cuts. And that's not a uniform dice on your onion. You're right. You're absolutely right. But this is going to cook way, way down. We're just looking at these onions to give our sauce some flavor. They're not going to be crispy or any way resembling onions by the time we actually serve the sauce. In fact, you probably won't even be able to see them in the sauce. All right, so that's one. Let's go ahead and slide that in there like so. One more. Right now, the only part of my knife skills that matters is the fact that I'm going to do this without cutting my fingers. We're going to call that a victory.
Squeak says, yes, cooking is really fun and relaxing to me.
What I love about cooking is, yeah, you can follow a recipe, but my grandma, when I was growing up, was kind of like a free-form cook, if we'll call it that, and I'll get all nostalgic. And I remember one time we were emptying out the fridge. She had a pie crust, half a leftover fruit salad, and some blueberries, and she ended up making a fruit salad pie. Now, that's weird, because you wouldn't think of like a fruit salad with mandarin oranges and pears and peaches and blueberries. Those things shouldn't go into a pie together. But you put enough sugar and you put enough love in that, and it'll turn into a beautiful pie. Now I almost forgot to put my tomato sauce in. Shame, shame, shame. Uh-oh.
Squeaks is following. Thank you for the follow.
Awesome. So we're gonna put this in. And like I said, this is not a recipe that I do normally during the week because it does have to sit. But if I have a group of folks coming over for game night on the weekend, this is really great. You can feed 6 or 8 people with a big pot of sauce, and it gives you a lot of room to be creative. Tonight we're gonna just put some ground beef in here. Normally I'd do a pork tenderloin and some maybe ground beef. Maybe I'd put some Italian sausages in here to cook for a while. Typically I'd put pepperoni in my sauce, but usually it gets a little bit greasy when I do that, so we're not going to do that tonight. All right. So we are going to add my best friend, though, my secret ingredient. I like my sauce to have a little bit of a kick, so I do use some red pepper flakes. I don't grind my own pepper because I'm lazy. But I am going to add a little bit of red pepper. In case you can tell, a couple of our gaming buddies that don't like spicy sauce, sorry in advance, but this sauce is going to have a little kick because I want it to. Then I do not have fresh garlic. Looks like, based on what we have in the fridge, I've got a tube of garlic that expired back pre-quarantine. So we're not going to play with that tonight, but we are going to get our garlic from this pesto, because normally, let's face it, I'm going to be honest, I love the pesto. I can't show you the label. I'll get banned for okay. This is my pesto. I use basically it's just garlic, basil, olive oil, a little bit of Parmesan. Since all of those things are delicious and yummy and absolutely belong in my sauce, we're just going to spoon that in. And I'm not got a lot left, so we're just going to add it all in there. And we're going to add some of our sun-dried tomatoes too. And again, this just gives it a little bit of a tangy flavor. Plop those in there like so. And that's going to get, all this is going to help us get rid of that plain, just kind of bland tomato soup taste and get us more of a seasoned sauce taste. So what we're going to do now is we're going to get rid of some of these cans, and I'm going to go ahead and bust out our pan here. We're going to brown our ground beef, and that's no fun. It's a boring process, but got to do it. We're going to put a little bit of olive oil in our pan so it would stick, not too much, so we got to hold on to grease here. Just a wee bit. And we're going to try to brown this pretty quickly. I'm not going to put it all the way up on high, but I am going to put it quite far up there. I want to get this brown enough to where I'm comfortable with it. I don't want to add it into our sauce raw just because I don't really know if there's a problem with that or not, but the thought of doing it gives me the heebie-jeebies. So we're probably going to do this just one at a time when we cook our sauce here, or cook our ground beef. You can kind of see here we're going to break it up. Get it to cook a little faster. And I'm going to grab some salt and pepper to season this a little bit as it starts cooking. But we got a ways to go yet before that happens. So Squeaks, do you have a favorite type of food that you like to cook? Any specific meal that's your favorite? You relax cooking pretty much anything? Salt and pepper here. I know for me, cooking meals that I remember eating as I was a kid growing up is something I always relax and I enjoy doing. It's funny. You always remember like the food that your mom made being like the absolute best, or at least I don't know about everybody else, but I always do. And there's something about her spaghetti sauce that I always thought was just absolutely amazing. And I remember one time this is after I'd been out of the house for a while and started doing more cooking on my own. I asked her, I said, Mom, what do you use in your spaghetti sauce? What do you season it with? You use a lot of oregano? She says, no, I use Prego. And that was the moment I realized that my mom was not a cook. Love you, Mom. Hope you're watching. Love you, but Gordon Ramsay, you are not. And I don't think you can say, like, I guess you can kind of say that barbecuing is relaxing, but I think that's like its own special type of cooking. I think we were extraordinarily blessed this last year. We finally were able to move into a place where we could get a grill, because where we're at in Florida, a lot of the smaller like condo associations, if you have a smaller place, they for safety reasons they won't let you have a grill. So being able to actually do some barbecuing and grilling has been really, really cool. I'm really excited about it. Really excited for it to cool down. I feel like I can go outside and grill more when it's not 95 degrees outside, you know? All right, 5 minutes later, looks like we're finally starting to hear our ground beef sizzle. I think it's my cue to give us a little pepper, maybe a little salt, not a whole lot. Our blend here, I honestly don't know because I wasn't paying attention. I don't usually use I'm terrible. I don't usually use a really lean blend, to be honest. I will drain this before I add it to the sauce, maybe. But there's something nice and kind of pleasant about that, a little bit of that ground beef fat mixing through your sauce and giving it a kind of a meat flavor throughout.
How many pounds of ground beef are you using? We're
using 2 pounds tonight. If I knew I was going to be adding the tenderloin, which I might or I might not, I'd probably have scaled it back to 1. And something I do occasionally is I'll switch out ground beef for ground turkey. What's great is if you season your sauce properly, and you get a lot of really good notes of basil, oregano, really the taste from the pesto and the garlic. Everything blends together, and you don't taste anything different, whether it's turkey, ground pork. I don't think we've used ground chicken, but we have used a lot of ground turkey for nights when we're actually feeling a little bit more health conscious. Grab my strainer so we're ready here. Go ahead and put that. Sink. Alright, yeah, I think we're ready. So we got our first pound of ground beef ready to go into our pot o' sauce. And I think what I actually decided is I've got an early day at work tomorrow. What I might just do is I might pick up, well, it's gonna sizzle a little bit. I might pick up some Italian sausages. Throw them in there as well. That'll give us nice flavor. And if you add I found if you add Italian sausages to your sauce too early, they always have this weird thing where the inside fills up with all your sauce grease, your sauce liquid, and they end up turning into giant grease sponges, which If you're drinking, that may be delightful, but for just regular enjoyment of your pasta sauce at a meal, that's a bit much. Creates for a bit heavy of a meal. We're gonna wash our hands right now, get some of that, all that raw meat juice off.
You're making a homemade pasta sauce, right?
I am. This is gonna be just a generic meat sauce, nothing special. And I say homemade, it's really not. We're using canned sauce, but my idea of like the most, I don't want to say lazy, but I'll say lazy. And I'm not saying that in a judgmental way because I've done it before. A lot of times we've done that nice when we're in a hurry, but I consider this an alternative to what I say is a lazy spaghetti. And that's where you just brown a pound of hamburger. You take and you dump in a jar of whatever pasta sauce you want. And then you just pour that over boiled noodles. That's quick spaghetti. This is not quick spaghetti. But it's not, you know, I'm not steaming my own tomatoes from the vine. I'm not using, you know, fresh vine-ripened tomatoes. Nobody's got like that time. If I want that, I'll go to a restaurant. And even then, I'm pretty sure they're using canned sauce. But no, we're going to let this cook for about a day. And if you've ever cooked chili, I have a theory that chili always tastes better if it's been cooked in a slow cooker for at least 24 hours. I maintain the same thing about a red sauce or a meat sauce. In fact, I had a stepbrother who was, stepbrother-in-law, I guess, who was Italian. And growing up, I don't know if they called it like 6-hour sauce, or every Sunday his grandmother would make marinara sauce, and she always started it bright and early in the morning so it was ready for 2 o'clock to be served. So even, I don't know how Italian he was, but even their family would cook their sauce for at least 8 hours. And I don't know why I'm stirring my sauce. I turned my burner off. What am I doing? Casey, you're supposed to be making sure I don't do stuff like that. Like, wow, this hamburger's not going anywhere.
I got a question.
Yeah, what's up?
Ever had deer meat before? Squeaks asks.
I have. So that almost makes me wonder if Squeaks knows me, because I actually grew up in northern Michigan, and funny enough, my mom used to do deer meat in our pasta sauce. Deer meat's an interesting meat. It depends on how you cook it. Depends on what type of cut you get. Deer steaks can be very, very tender if you cook them in like a pressure cooker, if you cook them for a long time. Or they can be very, very tough. A lot of that also depends on the age of the animal. Deer hamburger, I was never a fan of. It has, I usually like strong meats, but to me, deer hamburger has a very, very gamey taste. What I will tell you, surprisingly enough, is amazing. And honestly, if I ever get back up north and were to bring a large amount of venison back down south with me, I would honestly have it put into hot dogs. Going through college, one of my go-to meals, because I paid my own way through college for the most part. I got some help from my father, but a lot of my food budget was what I could subsist on, making about $8 an hour at the YMCA. So ate a lot of deer meat in college, and one of my go-to meals was literally just an 8-pack of deer hot dogs boiled and no bun. Just, oh, they're so good. So good. We are not going to be putting deer hot dogs into the spaghetti tonight, although that does not sound that bad. I would 100% do that. It looks like we're getting a good brown on the burger.
Squeak says we hunt deer so we barely get to eat deer meat.
You hunt deer, so you barely. Do you guys just not bring that many down a season? Where I grew up, it was intense. I mean, deer season was such a huge part of our culture. They actually canceled the first 3 days of school that occurred during deer season. So if deer season started on a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we'd have no class at school because not enough teachers would show up to have classes. It was amazing. But that being said, if you live in an area where there's not a lot of deer, I guess it could be hard to get enough, get one for meat in a season. We got a lot of grease on this. We're gonna get these in the sink. All right. So right now it looks like a good deal of our prep work is done.
He says no, they cost a lot of money for a license.
Oh, that would be a problem. Where we were at in northern Michigan, I mean, they'd practically give your dough tags away. It's funny, I was talking to some of the people I work with. In the county I grew up in, there were, at the time, and still true now, there were more deer than there were people in the county. Approximately one person for every 65 deer in the county. So we were outnumbered. All right, so this doesn't look all that good right now. See, it's kind of got a chunky look, but that's because the sauce hasn't had a chance to render. The meat hasn't really had a chance to render. It kind of looks like something you get at a high school cafeteria, but we're not really going to be able to fix that. Time's going to fix that. So we're going to take this here lid. We're going to stick this thing on. I'm going to stick it on warm overnight. And I'm going to check it in the morning before I go to work. And if it is lagging, then I might turn it on low for a little while. But I'll keep an eye on this for the next couple days. We're having some friends over on Saturday to start the tabletop Extra Life session. So probably end up eating around noon on Saturday. So it gives us about a day and a half for this to cook down and render in a nice thick meat sauce. I don't know what we're going to serve it over. I think we've got some tricolor tortellinis we'll serve it over. Maybe I'll get a couple of zucchinis, make some zoodles. I don't know. But we will see what happens. Really, you were in the Scouts squeaks. I was an Eagle Scout myself, and I do remember we did a lot of our. We never made spaghetti sauce with our deer, but we ended up making big stews. Potatoes, onions, celery, carrots, all that fun stuff. Of course, we were up north, so everybody always had to have rutabagas in their stew. I think rutabagas are nasty, but that's just me. I don't think we have anything else to do tonight, Casey. We just got to let this thing sit for a little while. And you got some dishes to do. And I just got an eye roll. So I think this is going to be the first of maybe a couple different cooking videos. This is kind of a light one just because there's not a whole lot of work to be done. Like I said, a lot of what I do for cooking, I do like cooking pasta sauces. This is one of the easier ones. I do a really, really great chicken spinach artichoke pasta sauce. And we may try that at our next video. But for now, I think we're going to go ahead and sign off, crack a beer, and it's Miller time.
Have a great evening.
Squeaks, thanks for the follow. We'll see you around.
We got who's this? Yammy Yams just showed up.
Oh.
They just got comfy.
Oh, I'm sorry. Just settled in for us to bail on you like that. Well, we're going to do some more cooking videos. I had a really, really good time just this short first one tonight. I'm not sure what we'll try cooking next, but we'll definitely try doing some more of these. Maybe on Thursday.
Thank you for the follow, Yummy Yams.
Oh,
actually, you just subscribed.
Oh, very cool. We're going to do some cool stuff. I tell you what, I'd never thought of streaming cooking. I know this is actually Casey. Casey's behind the computer operating tonight. This is his channel. My wonderful husband, who I met 12 years ago today. Happy first date anniversary. But I had a lot of fun. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and leave some comments. Let Casey know what you guys might want to see me try to cook. I'll tell you, I'm terrible at baking, so if you guys tell me to bake something, it's going to be a hell of a lot of fun watching me screw that up. So we are going to call it for tonight. Yummy Yams, Squeaks, it's been a pleasure to have you guys here. And we'll try this again next week. What do you think, Case? Awesome. Take care, everybody.
Good night.